Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the CoAnalyst podcast series. We're super excited to have you join us for Chapter 3, where we're going to be discussing how to master semantic search and data summarization with CoAnalyst. I'm your host, Allison Sullivan from Penlink, and with me is my fellow host, Christine Talley. How you doing, Christine?
Hey, Allison. I'm doing great. Thank you. We're going to talk about semantic search and data summarization, two of the most powerful features of CoAnalyst, which really set it apart from other investigative tools. So let's start with semantic search. What does it mean and why is it so important?
Absolutely. I love that our inner nerds are coming out here. Semantic search, it's a technique. It's a search technique that focuses on the meaning and the context behind a word rather than just, simply matching keywords. Traditional search methods, they rely heavily on keywords, and they can often lead to incomplete or irrelevant results. And think about even some sarcasm in there, right? The system can't necessarily interpret that or understand the meaning behind that. So semantic search, it's on the other hand, understands the intent behind the search. It retrieves information based on the meaning and the context around that word. It's crucial for digital investigations where the exact wording might not always be used.
Yeah, when we think about traditional keyword searching, it gets so unwieldy, right? So you're trying to think of the right specific words, every variation of that word or every synonym for that word in order to make sure you're bringing back as many related results as possible. But we don't have to do that with semantic search. So if we as analysts or investigators are looking for information related to a specific event or subject, we can use this natural language, our natural language, to ask CoAnalyst about it, and it's going to provide us with contextually relevant results. So CoAnalyst's ability to interpret and respond to using our natural language for querying this data is what makes it so user-friendly and accessible. Even for someone who may not have technical expertise in the platform or expert level knowledge in that particular topic that they're researching. So it's really about getting to the heart of your research question and not having to worry about coming up with those just right keywords.
Exactly. And, CoAnalyst semantic search capabilities, they are powered by advanced natural language processing, which you essentially hit on. It's otherwise known as NLP. It allows for the system to understand the nuances and the language like synonyms, context, and even slang. I mentioned earlier, even sarcasm. So, think about an example of someone who's looking for information on fraudulent activity. CoAnalyst can then understand terms like scam, con, fraud. They all might be relevant to the search, and that's where CoAnalyst kind of kicks it up a notch.
Yeah. I mean, the ability to understand context and intent is what makes semantic search so incredibly powerful. And that's how it becomes a force multiplier in our investigations. So it can surface information that our traditional keyword searches might miss. So, my background is in human trafficking investigations, right? So I know the terms, the words that get used in that type of crime, and I can very easily come up with a really good keyword search list if I needed to. But like you said, I'm not nearly as proficient in financial fraud investigations. So I may not necessarily be able to come up with a comprehensive keyword list for that kind of investigation, but I don't need to because semantic search in CoAnalyst has me covered in those areas where different terminology is used. So its ability to interpret what we're looking for and identify the relevant variations ensures that investigators and analysts get comprehensive and accurate results.
Yeah. Another key feature of semantic search within CoAnalyst is its ability to maintain the conversation history or memory. This means that CoAnalyst can remember the context of the previous queries that were built within CoAnalyst. So, for example, if an investigator or an analyst or even a researcher comes in and asks a follow-up question, CoAnalyst can then refer to the previous question, refer to the previous information, and that way it's able to provide a more relevant and accurate response. This makes the search process much more fluid and much more intuitive and just keeps that conversation going.
Yeah. Maintaining that conversation memory is a huge advantage. And if I personally had that ability, I think I'd probably win some more arguments with my husband But, it does. It allows investigators to conduct more dynamic, more iterative searches. So, well, what do I mean by iterative searches? So I've initially queried CoAnalyst about my data using a broad prompt. And now what I can do is review that response and refine it and adjust my queries. So as I continue to dig deeper, CoAnalyst references that conversation memory. And together we actually improve the relevance, the accuracy, the depth of our results. So we don't have to start from scratch every time we ask CoAnalyst a question. We can build on those questions that we asked previously and the answers that were provided, which is going to make the investigation process so much more efficient and effective.
Sounds to me like we need to move this conversation in the direction of data summarization, because that's what you're talking about. And, this is another area where CoAnalyst really excels. Data summarization, it's the process of distilling large volumes of complex data into concise, actionable summaries. We talk about this a lot, moving it from macro to micro. So this capability is crucial for investigators and analysts who need to quickly understand the essence of the data without getting bogged down with all these details.
Yeah, I bet that there are a lot of people watching this who know exactly what your stomach feels like when you have that exigent case and you have just received some sort of data dump with thousands and thousands of records. It's overwhelming. It's time consuming to try to review that data manually. And then once you finally reviewed it, you still have to analyze that data and summarize it for the stakeholders to share that intelligence with them. So this summarization that CoAnalyst can assist us with is not only going to save us a tremendous amount of time, but it also helps in making those quick decisions when they're necessary. So when you're dealing with critical investigations, having that tool that can provide clear, concise summaries of vast amount of data it's invaluable. So it ensures that we're not overlooking important information, and it's going to help us focus on the most relevant data.
Yeah, and CoAnalyst, it's able to do that by using advanced algorithms. It identifies key points and central themes from these huge, huge data sets. So, this ensures that the summaries capture the most critical information like you're talking about without losing its context. So it could be media, images, text, even geodata. CoAnalyst is going to provide the clear and concise insights, ways that are easy for the end user to understand, digest, and move forward in their investigation and or recommendation.
Right. And the summarization capabilities can actually be tailored to the user's preferences. So an investigator can focus on specific aspects of that content, such as threat levels or the relevance of an entity or even those temporal factors. So when you customize like that, you're ensuring that the summaries are highly relevant and they're going to be extremely useful for the specific needs of each different investigation.
Absolutely. Yeah, another benefit of CoAnalyst, the summary capabilities, is the ability to generate even more high-level overviews suitable for quick consumption. So think about handing it over to another decision maker, a supervisor. It's really useful for those decision makers who need quick, understandable key findings of an investigation or research without delving into the details. They don't need to understand all of the breadcrumbs, but they need to understand where those breadcrumbs lead to. So, the CoAnalyst summaries, they really provide a clear, and like I said earlier, concise overview of all of the data that was scanned over and really ingested, and just helps, everyone make that decision and take action much more intelligently and much quicker.
Yeah, I don't think we could really overstate how invaluable the ability to generate these tailored high-level summaries is going to be. Investigators and decision makers have the information they need to make these informed decisions quickly. So it becomes a game changer in fast-paced environments where time is truly not on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in addition to the text and the media, CoAnalyst can also summarize geodata, as I mentioned earlier. So, this capability really allows for the end user to visualize geographic data. I mean, if that's not their strong suit, imagine being able to visualize the locations, the movement, the patterns that they're related to in terms of your investigation or your topic of research. And by summarizing the data, CoAnalyst now provides and continues to provide clear insights into geographic trends and correlations that might otherwise be overlooked. So it's not only just about the text, you're now taking in your region into consideration as well.
Right. And, we could certainly try to review all of this data. I know I have, right? All this data that we have access to from all these different sources and hope that we are going to pull out what's relevant from that relevant geodata, which then we have to take and we have to map and we have to try to make sense of it, right? So, but geodata summarization does that time-saving work for us. Once again, ensuring that we're not going to miss that needle in the haystack. That's the thing that always keeps me up at night, right? The one thing that I'm going to miss. So it's going to allow investigators to understand the spatial aspects of investigation. You're going to be able to see the big picture and identify the patterns that may not be apparent from disparate data points. So obviously this is particularly useful in cases involving any type of movement, right? So whether it's the trafficking, I'm stuck on trafficking, right? Like the tracking of suspect locations, or even identifying hotspots of criminal activity.
Yeah, absolutely. That buzzword hotspots, you say that if you're able to help somebody out on the end user's perspective, you're definitely going to add a value. It's value added there. And, another feature, like we mentioned earlier, it's a summary or the summarization capability that CoAnalyst presents with its ability to handle multimedia content. So you're talking about videos, photos, other media files. Having the ability to analyze and summarize all of that media content, CoAnalyst is now going to take it up even another notch and provide insights into the visual aspect of all of the information I'm presented with. And it's going to be crucial to an investigation because we've even had a lot of our customers even come to us, our fellow law enforcement or intel analyst users come to us and talk to us about media that they've been given or images that they've been given and what can we do to help them. And having CoAnalyst, kind of be that other force multiplier into using that tool or using that piece of data and having it go and scan across all of these pieces of media can really, really be a game changer.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, you know me, Allison, like my big platform, my big soapbox, if you will, is that we can't ignore open source intelligence anymore, right? Well, we also can't ignore this handling the multimedia content. It is no longer a nice thing to have in our digital investigations. It's essential. So, just considering like social media, about 80% of posts worldwide contain images or video. And of course, that number even varies by platform. Some platforms are textual and some platforms are more image or video based. But visual evidence often plays a key role in understanding the context of an event that may be occurring or even just identifying suspects. So CoAnalyst's ability to analyze and summarize this content ensures that investigators have a comprehensive understanding of all of this evidence that we have at hand.
Absolutely. And, we've said it a couple of times in different ways, but just, CoAnalyst semantic search and the data summary that it is able to provide, the capabilities of CoAnalyst are just game changers. And there's no better word for it. It really is a game changer for digital investigations. Having the ability to better understand the meaning and context behind queries, CoAnalyst now is going to provide more accurate, relevant search results. Having the ability to summarize these large data sets into clear, actionable insights, CoAnalyst is going to continue to help investigators, analysts, decision makers move forward much more quickly and efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like personally as an analyst, I'm so excited. I'm thrilled about what we're accomplishing here. I know as a company that we are extremely proud of what CoAnalyst has achieved so far. We are so excited about its potential to continue evolving and meeting the needs of investigators and analysts who are so important to us and near and dear to our hearts, right? So anyway, in our next episode, we're going to be exploring how CoAnalyst's visual data analysis capabilities work in detail. So I'm going to be back with you for that one. I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Christine. And thank you to all of our audience members for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more insights into CoAnalyst and the future of digital investigations. Until next time, I'm Allison Sullivan, your host from Penlink. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.